Alright everybody, back in the review portion. I know this took an extra day to publish, so I do apologize for that. I've had to recently scan my computer for a bunch of stuff. There was somehow some adware on there, so it's off now, and that's why this took me a little bit longer to get out. But we are back in the review portion for Blood Refilled, so I finished it up. I did my last Blood Refilled recording yesterday. We finished it up. Just before we go into the ratings, as usual, a few outstanding comments. Love the mod. Very unique. Basically, it's like a game within a game. There's not a ton of mods that do that, obviously, because it is a massive undertaking. But the only ones I could think of that really do it are like Project Brazil. I know Project Lone Star is going to come out at some point, so not Project Lone Star, but Fallout Lone Star. I always call it Project Lone Star. But yeah, Fallout Lone Star will be coming out pretty soon, which is like a fan-made mod that, again, game within a game. The only other one I can think of, Deimos isn't exactly that, but it's pretty massive, and it's pretty unique in terms of using different world spaces and different resources. So yeah, this is right along up there with those. I really enjoyed the mod. I love that there was custom weapons in it. There was an English version of it. By the time I realized where to download the English version, I had already pretty much been through like a third of the mod, and I didn't really feel like starting it over because it is so just intensive, I guess. Intensive's not the word, but there's just a lot to it. So I really didn't feel like doing it all over. Plus, I had already ported the keys in, so it is what it is. So yeah, that would obviously not count against this. But yeah, great mod. Love the custom weapons as well. Wish they would have given you more of them, and I definitely wish they would have given you more ammo for them, but that'll be under the playability category. So, without any further ado, let's get to the actual category judgments. World Space for Blood Refilled was spectacular, all the way from the grave that you dig out of, then the opening graveyard, the opening church, all the way through the different cities, the tunnels, the prisons, everything was spectacular. I'd have to say my favorite world space, it would be between the Carnival and Hell. Those were my two favorites. I really enjoyed those. Just tremendously unique. Pulled resources very well from the game, as well as from DLC material, such as the morgue drawers from Point Lookout. I'm pretty sure that's not the only thing he ported from, but no, this was really well designed. Took a lot of work, clearly, and I just thought that Andyno, or Andyno, however you say the mod author's name, did just a superb job with world space. I would say this is one of the top 2 to 3 world space mods I have ever seen. This is right up there with some of the best New Lands mods. As I said, if I had to classify this, I wouldn't say it's a quest mod. I would say it's more or less a New Lands mod, and you're just kind of walking through it because there are no set quest objectives, but this was spectacular. So for me, World Space gets a 5 out of 5. Lore friendliness is the next category. I don't really see any problem. It's tough to judge lore friendliness because, like I said, this doesn't go along with Fallout lore, but it's a tribute to another game using Fallout's engine. I can't see any reason to give it a 5 because it doesn't fit in Fallout lore. I can't see any reason not to give it a 5 because it's not supposed to fit in Fallout lore. It's supposed to be you're playing this other game, just kind of like an updated version of it. So I'm giving it a 5 either way because I literally couldn't think of a reason not to. It should be a 5. Just because you're not playing this because it fits in with the lore. You're playing it specifically to get a different experience than Fallout. Dialogue and voice acting. I can't recall if there were any dialogue mistakes because everything was in Yiddish or whatever the hell that language was, so I can't really judge it. The only thing I can honestly judge in this category is the little snippets that were probably directly from the Blood game. I don't know if they were revoiced or if those were actually the voice files from the game that he's, I guess, tributing or spoofing, or however you want to categorize that. My assumption is that they are the actual voice files because they do appear very, put it this way, it sounds like it's from a video game. It seems very legitimate. So that's the only thing I can really judge this on. So 5 out of 5 for that, just because why not? I mean, it's very unique. No other mod that I've ever played for Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3 does that. So 5 out of 5 just on that, because it's really all I have to go on. Playability, this is where I'm going to ding this mod just slightly. As I said, I did like the custom weapons. I wish there were more of them, and definitely there needs to be more ammo provided for them. Additionally, I do like that there was a lot of rooms that there was a ton to explore. One of the main issues I found with this mod, though, is that so many of the rooms are really just for exploration, but there aren't keys in them. There's no way to really further your progress in the mod from walking into these rooms. They're just there for show. I wish, to me, if you're going to make a room in a mod, everything you do needs to have a purpose behind it. Nothing should be arbitrary or just for the sake of exploring. Unless it is literally a modder's resource. If that's the case, like Green Isle, for example, okay, that's a New Lands mod, but it is somewhat of a modder's resource. He makes it clear this is your responsibility to populate this and then make it from there. This is not that. It's kind of a hybrid of a quest mod and a New Lands mod. As I said, I would classify it New Lands, but not really a modder's resource. So for that, I do have to kind of, judge that a little bit, just because there are so many rooms that really don't have any vital content to them. But I do like the exploration aspect of it. Not really a ton of frame rate drop with this mod. The performance was pretty good throughout. And then the only other thing with playability, this isn't finished, obviously. I doubt they're still working on this mod. Maybe they are, but I can't see it. I mean, it was taken off the Nexus, the only place other than their actual website, which like I said, I found out about a third of the way through the mod that there was an actual website for this mod and Mod Maker. I just can't imagine they're still working on this, but a lot of the world space is incomplete, as you can see, because we ran into so many incomplete areas. Also, the keys are just so hard to find. Make them way more obvious. I remember one of the playability issues specifically that I ran into was in one of the little city places where we were supposed to be finding the mall key, and the bodies of the not clan member, cult members had disappeared, so that I could not pick that key up from their bodies. That's a problem that definitely needs to be explored. That's a game breaker, unless you know how to use the GEC and put the keys in a location. And luckily, I know I know a little bit about the GEC enough to do that. So, but some people who play these mods really don't. So that's an issue that definitely needs to be fixed. If they are still working on this, that would be like the number one thing I would be looking at. So playability, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Not ideal, not poor by any stretch of the imagination, just not ideal. So, kind of right in the middle. Miscellaneous and subjective experience. As I said, I had a very, very good time with this mod. This was very, very unique. I enjoyed playing it. There were some parts where I got stuck, had to make cuts. The keys were hard to find, as I'd say. Because playability is not a 5, to me, miscellaneous and subjective experience is almost never going to be a 5, because my opinion drives very, very heavily on how playable the mod is. I can admire the world space and the dialogue and the voice acting in a mod all I want, but at the end of the day, I'm here to play it. So, to me, miscellaneous and subjective experience, I'm going to give that a 4.3 out of 5. Like I said, pretty much everything other than that was perfect, other than just the playability aspect. World space was incredible, the world space that was done. And one thing I need to mention also is the new models that were used. As I said, I don't know if when we fought the devil, I don't know if that was something that was ported from another game, which is exactly what I'm going to guess that is. I don't play Skyrim or Oblivion. Maybe that was something from one of those things or from something else. But if he used a new model for that, I don't know why he couldn't have used a new model for like the demons, for example, in Hell. And he used them with what I later learned were called satyrs, which is those things that I kept calling Naomi Watts, the big ram things. Like he used new models with those. And then there were certain things that he just kind of repackaged. The tunnelers were the demons. So I'm going to assume that those were ports rather than full new models, or maybe ports from a different mod. For example, Mart's Mutant mod or the Mo mod, which is, now that I'm thinking of it, I think that may be where the Satyrs are from. So yeah, there was so much great about this mod, and I love that it is a long mod. But yeah, I can't give it a 5 for my subjective experience, because I want to be honest, and playability is a very, very important factor to me. Probably isn't as important to some people. For me, it is pretty much the number one factor, and then everything else is kind of ancillary, and you could do a really great job supporting it. But altogether, I did really like this mod. I'm not going to complain about it. It's a great mod, and it's very unique. You could tell a lot of work went into it, and I just have all the appreciation in the world for Andyno for creating this mod. Obviously, a huge undertaking, and just very well done overall. So, overall score for this mod totals out to a 4.46, which I will round up to 4.5. So that is the total score for this mod, 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, like I said, great mod. Enjoyed it very much. And, I mean, if he is still working on this, I hope to see some improvements. And, yeah, I will play this on my own if I see more updates for it. I won't play it on the channel again because it would take too long. But, yeah, great job. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I really did. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching today. Appreciate it. We're probably going to take a week or two off of mod reviews just because this was a long mod review. So we'll probably, my guess is that we're going to not have a mod review the coming week, and then probably not have a mod review the next week, and then have one again. And I will be doing, for the next mod review, I had a request by Jonathan Glass, and that is the mod that I will be reviewing next week. And I think it'll be the second time I've accommodated a request ever, but I'm glad that I'm getting them. This is awesome. This is exactly what I was hoping for. I love to hear feedback, and I love to hear what you guys want to see, and whatever you want to see I will put. So thank you very, very much for watching, and we will see you next time.